So, really quick, if you haven't seen my most recent episode on Claire de Lune Joy Sculptor, make sure you check that episode out because that card has me saying, no. But don't leave just yet, because on this episode, I'm going to be talking about a brand new card that has so many combos, so much combo potential. So, with all that said, let's jump into it. So, the new card is Last Voyage of the, do I just say blank there? Let's just say blank there, I guess. I don't know. I haven't really covered any of the cards that have a blank spot, I don't think. So, there you go. Last Voyage of the blank. An enchantment that costs 3 and a black, and it does not have an acorn at the bottom. So, therefore, this is a legal card in Eternal formats, and one that, well, has some pretty crazy combos again. So, yeah, I'm sure it's going to see some play. When this enchantment enters the battlefield, you may put a name sticker on it, then it becomes an aura with enchant creature. Return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield and attach this aura to it. Enchanted creature gets +2/+0 for each name sticker on this aura with 7 or fewer letters. And on top of that, when this aura leaves the battlefield, sacrifice enchanted creature. So this is a pretty strange card. First up, it's an enchantment that comes into play. It turns into something else. Okay, it's still an enchantment, but turns into also an aura that enchants a creature from your graveyard. But also, while you're doing this, you are putting a name sticker on this, and those name stickers, again, that you're going to want to put on this are going to be 7 letters or less, because again, for every single one of those name stickers you have on this, you get +2/+0 as long as they've got 7 or less letters. And then, of course, if this aura ever leaves the battlefield, no matter where it goes, again, graveyard, hand, or exile, then your creature is sacrificed. So what this card does might sound familiar, well, except for, that sticker part. That doesn't sound all that familiar with this kind of a card, but still, we actually haven't seen a card like this in a long time before kind of, the rules of Magic were a little more, let's just say, solidified, and we typically don't, enchant creatures in graveyards anymore, technically. Okay, you're enchanting, the battlefield, and then and it turns into an aura. Usually this doesn't happen, let's just say that, okay? But because of the exact way that this card works and the wonkiness of it, kind of in a way, there are a lot of combos with it. And of course, we've already seen the path for these combos and actually how powerful some of them can be with some other cards that, again, came from a different time, a long time ago, when, again, in my opinion, the rules were a bit less solid, though also slightly more solid than these days because, yeah, they didn't have, stickers back then. So, yeah, I guess I'm kind of eating my words right now by saying that. Regardless, let's turn back time just a little bit to see where the inspiration for this card came from and what potential combos we can look towards. And those cards would be Animate Dead, Dance of the Dead, and Necromancy. And all these cards are very old. Okay, that Animate Dead is a reprint, I believe, from Eternal Masters. But yeah, that card is also very old. And by very old, I believe Alpha even. So yeah, that card came out a long time ago. And then what Dance of the Dead is Ice Age, and Necromancy I think is Vision. So yeah, basically 94, 95, 96. Very old cards, again, and that work in some very strange ways. And there's a reason why it's been 26 years or something like that since we've seen something that works in these ways. Because, yeah, again, our rules are just a bit more solidified these days, except for, attraction stickers, all those kind of things. Anyways, that aside, let's just read Animate Dead because that one is probably the easiest of these to actually read because, again, this was reprinted in Eternal Masters. Here we go. Enchant creature card in a graveyard. When it enters the battlefield, if it's on the battlefield, it loses enchant creature card in a graveyard and gains enchant creature and put it on the battlefield with Animate Dead. Return enchanted creature to the battlefield under your control and attach Animate Dead to it. When Animate Dead leaves the battlefield, that creature's controller sacrifices it. Enchanted creature gets -1/-0. So this one starts off as an aura and again directly attaches to a creature card in a graveyard, but then switches to an enchant creature in play essentially. Very weird. Yes, essentially works in the exact same way though. Bring a creature back from your graveyard. This attaches to it. If this ever leaves play, that creature gets sacrificed. Now, this one also, gives the enchanted creature -1/-0. Has nothing to do with stickers either, but basically, when it comes to comboing, essentially, is going to work in the exact same way. Now, obviously, keep in mind that the mana value of each of these, which all work very similarly, not the exact same, but very similarly. Animate Dead and Dance the Dead are both just 2 mana, and the Necromancy is 3, so yeah, when it comes to comboing, they're going to be slightly quicker potentially than, the 4 mana new version that we have. That being said, I can still see this new one seeing play as well as just, another piece that essentially can combo in basically the exact same way. Having essentially duplicates of the exact same card in your deck makes it so that you are more likely to get them or, have more chances to get them. That being said, though, now let's talk about the cards that do combo with these and, again, combo with Last Voyage of the blank, or again, however you say that. And the first one that comes to mind is actually World Gorger Dragon, an incredibly crazy card that is really off the wall. A 7/7 Nightmare Dragon with Flying and Trample that costs 3 red, and it has, when it enters the battlefield, exile all other permanents you control. And then when it leaves the battlefield, return the exile cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. So when I was a kid, I definitely remember this card, and I was thinking, who in the world would ever play this? That is a huge downside. Yeah, you get a 7/7 with Flying and Trample for, 6 mana, but you lose everything else. So you're very much depending on this to win for you. Now, also, when I was a kid, though, I did not realize the combo potential of this card because, yeah, this combos with Animate Dead, Dance the Dead, Necromancy, and now also Last Voyage of the blank. Essentially with any of these, but again, let's just utilize, Last Voyage of the blank as the example. You need World Gorger Dragon in your graveyard, then you just simply play Last Voyage of the blank. It enters the battlefield, you put a name sticker on it. Again, you're going to probably want, it might not really matter, but you're going to want to put a name on it that has 7 or less letters, of which I'll give some examples here in a bit, but yeah. Then you return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield and attach this now aura to it. And again, that creature is going to be World Gorger Dragon, which of course comes into play, and then you get its ETB, exile all other permanents you control, and that counts everything, and of course that includes Last Voyage of the blank, which now I guess would have a name. So let's just say Last Voyage of the Squid. Sure. So you exile everything, including Last Voyage of the Squid, but before you do that, if you've got any extra kind of lands lying around that are untapped, tap those. Just, float some mana, okay? And of course, when Last Voyage of the now Squid is exiled, it had left the battlefield, so that triggers, and you have to sacrifice the enchanted creature, which again is World Gorger Dragon, which of course goes back to your graveyard. So you're going to return the exiled cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. So yes, that also includes Last Voyage of the Squid, and everything else you have, including all your lands. Which, keep in mind, those lands come into play untapped. In fact, all your permanents that are entering the battlefield come into play untapped if they're supposed to. So not like a bounce land or anything like that. You know what I mean? Then, of course, you get the ETB for Last Voyage of the Squid. Again, you get to put another name sticker on it. So, yeah, you're going to put another name sticker on it. So it'll be Last Voyage of the Squid Jetpack. Sure, why not? But more importantly, again, it's an aura now that, again, returns a creature from your graveyard and attaches it to it. And, of course, that, again, is going to be World Gorger Dragon, which was just sacrificed and is in your graveyard. Which, of course, then you get the ETB from World Gorger Dragon, you exile, and rinse and repeat. Essentially, every single time, you are getting whatever other ETBs you might have from other permanents that you control. Or, of course, you also are getting infinite mana, essentially, from your lands, because your lands are going to keep coming into play untapped again, and you can keep tapping them before they get exiled again, then they come back, untapped again. So, yes, basically, infinite mana, infinite ETBs, infinite sacrifice triggers. There's a lot of ways to win while doing this. Though, do keep in mind, you do need a way to win. That might be an instant speed burn spell or something like that, but yeah, you need a way to win, because if you don't, and World Gorger Dragon is the only creature in your graveyard, I believe that's just a stalemate at that point, because this just keeps comboing again and again and again, and it just has to keep going. Since none of these are maze, you have to bring a creature back, you have to exile your permanents, you have to, you need to just keep doing this. So make sure you've got a way to win when you set this combo up. And of course, there are plenty of ways to do that. One very simply is to have something like Impact Tremors in play. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, Impact Tremors deals 1 damage to each opponent. So, yeah, all you need to do, again, is have, Road Gorger Dragon enter the battlefield an infinite number of times, essentially, and ping everyone down. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be an infinite number, it'd just be like 40 or whatever their life totals are. You know what I mean? You can even win with a, very simple land, though, like Sun-Scorched Desert. That's probably my favorite way to win in this combination. It's a desert that has, when it enters the battlefield, deals 1 damage to target player. I mean, also taps for colors, but yeah, I mean, it just pings a player for 1. Which obviously doesn't seem like a lot, but when you add that up an infinite amount of times, or again, as many times as you need, that of course is going to be enough to take every single player out with just this very simple land. Or of course, I mean, you can mill players out as well with Altar of the Brood. Whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent puts the top card of their library into their graveyard, so everyone mills 1. And of course, when you are getting all your permanents essentially, coming into play an infinite number of times, you mill all your opponents out. Now, you don't win right away there unless you've got a way to force a draw for all players. But yeah, essentially, you go to your opponent's draw steps, they're each going to lose. Unless they can flash in a fast Oracle, then joke's on you. But yeah, it's probably not going to happen. And of course, again, while going about this, you are generating infinite mana. So yeah, there are plenty of ways to win from there. Just, yeah, make sure you have a plan and don't, just stalemate the game because you didn't set yourself up properly or had another target, for last voyage of the squid or whatever it is. Next up, 2 other creatures that can actually kind of take the place of Road Gorger Dragon in combo in similar ways, or somewhat similar ways, I should say. Abdel Adrian Gorian's Ward and Leonin Relic Warder. Abdel Adrian Gorian's Ward has, when it enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land permanents you control until Abdel Adrian leaves the battlefield. Create a 1/1 white soldier creature token for each permanent exiled this way. So this one does not exile your lands, so keep that in mind, but obviously, if you have, even just say 1 mana rock in play that enters untapped, like, a Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, whatever, you can get infinite mana from that. On top of generating infinite soldiers as well. And you don't even need any other non-land permanents in play. You just need to keep exiling again and again and again. Last voyage of the, again, I'm just going to keep calling it squid. Now, obviously, infinite soldiers won't just win you the game right away, but again, if you've got other things like, an impact tremors in play, or again, something else that has an ETB that maybe forces an opponent to draw, or, an ETB that pings for damage, yes, you've got plenty of ways that you can win with this. Next up, how about Leonin Relic Warder? When it enters the battlefield, it may exile target artifact or enchantment, and when Leonin Relic Warder leaves the battlefield, return the exile card to the battlefield under its owner's control. So this one essentially does not, generate you soldiers like Abdel Adrian. This one is just a way to exile an infinite number of times, again, essentially, your last voyage of the squid. So yeah, I mean, essentially, you can get infinite ETBs, infinite sacrifice triggers, so I mean, a Blood Artist in play would win you the game as well. Or again, Ultra the Brood, Impact Tremors, any way to kind of take advantage of either an enchantment coming into play, or again, a creature coming into play, or being sacrificed or leaving play, etc., etc. And keep in mind that unlike Road Gorger Dragon, neither of these will actually, stalemate essentially if you're not set up properly, because each of these have a may. I mean, Abdel Adrian says exile any number. You could choose 0, or you could choose to exile something else and not, the last voyage if you're not set up properly. But yeah, just make sure you're set up properly and combo efficiently. Thank you. Now, another somewhat combo that is not infinite but is still incredibly effective is with Keterek Leviathan. It's a 5/5 Leviathan that says, when it comes into play, return all other non-land permanents to their owner's hands. And it's got an unearth cost, but let's ignore that because, yeah, we do not want to unearth this. We want to get it back with Last Voyage of the Squid. So essentially, the, again, non-infinite combo works like this. You have Keterek Leviathan in your graveyard, you play Last Voyage of the Squid, you return Keterek Leviathan to the battlefield, its ETB triggers, you bounce every single other non-land permanent back to their owner's hands, including, so you're bouncing your opponents as well, but yes, including Last Voyage of the Squid. So that goes back to your hand, you sacrifice the Leviathan, it's back in your graveyard, and yeah, you basically just wiped the board, everyone's board, including your own, and you're at the exact same spot you were, before this. You've got the Leviathan in your graveyard, you've got your Last Voyage in your hand, so if players try to set themselves up again, well, you just do it again. You bounce everyone's stuff again. So this can basically just be a 4-mana bounce everything spell that you essentially can just keep utilizing until someone stops you in one way or another. So yeah, there are other, non-infinite combos essentially that you can keep in mind with a, combo piece like this as well. Now, also, when it does come to actually choosing your stickers, I mean, utilize cards like, Unique Charm Pants, or Squid Fire Knight, or Jetpack Death Seltzer. Those sticker sheets, again, each of those, I believe I counted correctly, all of their words have, 7 or less letters on them. I mean, that probably really won't matter all that much, again, if you are comboing and going off, because, well, I mean, giving your creature plus even, 20 plus 20 or whatever you can get your creature up to with all these stickers on it doesn't really matter. And I guess math, 3 sticker sheets, 3 names on each sticker, okay, plus 18 plus 0 or whatever it is, okay? Now, obviously, that might come in handy if you're not going to be comboing in one of these ways. And yeah, why not choose sticker sheets, I guess, that have 7 or less letters on them? Because if you're only using them for this, might as well just, have that additional benefit, which could come in handy. And keep in mind, those stickers do stay attached to your last voyage as long, again, as it is within one of those combos that revolves around, exiling it and bringing it back, because the exile zone is public, so therefore you don't lose the stickers on it. Now, again, in a Keteric Leviathan kind of strategy, you would be actually bouncing it back to your hand, and that is not a public zone, so you'd have to remove those stickers, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, now as this episode is coming to a close, it's time for me to give you my final thoughts on Last Voyage of the, and I'm just going to keep calling it Squid, because that's probably the one that I would put on it. But yeah, Last Voyage of the Squid. An interesting enchantment that, again, we have not seen a design like this for a long time. Again, I believe the last time that we saw, a card like this printed originally was back in 96 with Necromancy. So yeah, they don't really do this very often anymore. And if I'm wrong on that, please correct me in the comments below. But yeah, essentially, we haven't seen a combo piece like this that basically works in the exact same way as, again, Animate Dead, Dance the Dead, and Necromancy, which all can revolve around very powerful combos, especially with World Gorger Dragon. So yeah, it's just really interesting to see it as a new legal card from an unset. But yeah, make sure you're staying to this channel for even more exciting quick takes and spoilers coming up. And with that, the show is coming to a close, so it's my turn to hear from you. So make sure you comment below and let me know what your thoughts on this episode are. And as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all their support.